Hi everyone, welcome to this week. We're going to talk about the gerund this week. Oh, sorry, I'm hitting the wrong button. So we're going to look at infinitives, review those, talk about verbal nouns, and then look at gerunds. Alright, so what we're talking about is verbal nouns, and that is, nouns that are verbs that are used as nouns. Alright, in English, can do either this ing form, right? Reading helps you learn English. Her favorite hobby is reading. I enjoy reading, right? All those ing forms are the noun forms of those verbs. In most of them, all right, so I can say to read helps you learn English. Now, it's a little awkward, but it's still technically correct. Her favorite hobby is to read. I enjoy to read, okay? So infinitives are also verbal nouns. In Latin, they're going to be sort of separate forms, infinitives and gerunds. All right? And you can read about infinitives at the bottom there, spoken English. So we say reading helps you learn English versus to read helps you learn English. The gerund, the ing form as the subject, sounds a little bit better than saying to read. All right? So to some extent, here's the important part. All right. And this is what we were talking about before. Gerunds that usually sound more like normal to learn English. All right, I'm not going to read through that all. I'm not going to read through all of that for you. All right, there's the gerund and the infinitive separated. All right, and again, the important part with the object, it's a little different or a little more nuanced or ambiguous. All right, because technically he enjoys swimming and he wants to swim. Right, are going to mean slightly different things and be slightly different forms. But the important part is that this ing form is the gerund and this to form is the infinitive. So here is the gerund in Latin. And basically what you'll see is that this nd is the tense sign is what indicates the gerund. Now, with that said, you'll notice in the nominative, and to some extent the accusative, all right, you have the Latin infinitive. And the reason that is that in Latin, the infinitive and the gerund are essentially the same thing, unlike in English. But the infinitive is used in Latin for subjects, and the infinitive is used in Latin for direct objects. All right, the gerund, the nd form, and again, the different names just refer to the different forms. They essentially do the same thing. The gerund, the nd form, is going to be used in the genitive and the dative for standard genitive and dative uses. It's going to be used in the accusative when the accusative is used as the object of a preposition. And it'll be used in the ablative for standard ablative uses, usually the ablative of means. All right, so the infinitive is the verbal noun in Latin for subjects and direct objects. The gerund, the nd form, is for all the other uses, including accusative, object of the preposition. There's more information on the right. I'll let you read through. All right. The nd form of the gerund really only has 1, 2, 3, 4 forms, 3 different forms. All right. So this is just text about the Latin gerund. I'm not going to read through all that. You can see the forms down here. All right, kind of goes through some examples, talks a little bit about what I was talking about. Forms page. All right, so we're just going to form the gerund in the case specified. So dative singular, all right, genitive, dative or ablative, that's the infinitive, nominative or accusative, that's the accusative, so accusative. All right, and here's my dative singular. Probo, nominative singular, that's my genitive. Dative or ablative, nominative or accusative, accusative. All right, and there we go. All right, I'll leave the rest for you. By the way, I meant to mention this earlier. Gerund is a neuter noun, all right, that uses second declension. That uses second declension endings, and it only exists in the singular. So if we go back to, all right, and I'll leave the rest for you. So if you want to go back and do them. The answers are coming on the slide. All right, and there are your answers. All right, so here is the state of New Mexico motto, Crescat eundo. All right, so one grows, maybe it grows, the state grows. All right, how does it grow? Note this is dative, or sorry, note this is ablative. It can be dative, but in this case it's ablative. So it grows or one grows. This is from AO era. So by going, by moving, something like that. Maybe by progressing. All right, so Crescat eundo. And you can see the gerund uses that ing form in English. All right, as a verbal noun, the gerund is not going to modify anything. So the gerund has to be on its own. All right, the participle does use the ing form, but it will be modifying a noun. So like the running man, right, uses the ing form. But that is a participle because it's modifying man. Running is fun. Running uses the ing form, but because it is not modifying anything and it is functioning as a noun, that is our gerund. All right, actually forgot to whom this belongs. Let's see. Oh, wrong color, sorry about that. All right, duquemus, we will lead. And again, another ablative means how will we lead? We will lead by cogitando, by thinking, and agendo, by doing. All right, and again, those ing forms used as. All right, here's a Latin text from Ovid's Metamorphoses. All right, Orpheus and Eurydice, a story you might have heard of if you know some mythology. All right, so two nd forms, videndi. All right, and prendi. We're going to skip prendi for now. All right, so the gerund, so that I ending has to be genitive. All right, it's the only, remember that since it's a neuter or singular noun, that I ending has to be genitive. All right, and this is just going to be genitive with that adjective avidus. All right, so fearing that he failed, metuens ne deficeret, and eager for living, and that's just because eager in English takes for, right? Still genitive, but eager for living. All right, the lover turned his eyes back. ... All right, here's another text. This is from Livy, the Roman historian. So the gerund here is populabundi. All right, and again, it's got to be genitive. It can't be nominative here because that would make it plural, and it can't be plural. All right. All right, so let's take a look at this week's summatives. So identifying the case and translate it with its case. So, for instance, narrandi is going to be genitive of telling. All right, capiendo, let's make it ablative. It can't be dative. By capturing. All right, and you'll go on from there. And then you're just going to finish the translation by translating the underlined words or phrases. So it is pleasing to me, ad narrandum, to tell, to narrate. All right, and I'll leave the rest for you. All right, and then writing, you're just going to translate the fragments. So Del escape by flying. So that by is going to make it ablative. Fly is volo volare. So that's going to be volando. All right, to punish him, ad puniendum. All right, and I'll leave the rest for you. That's going to do it for this week. Email me if you have any questions, and I'll be here next week. Thanks.